as you can see, I'm out in the greenhouse this morning, and I'm going to be putting some seeds out to germinate for squash. I'm doing yellow squash and zucchini squash, and I'm also putting cucumber seeds out today. So you guys come on along, I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how I am planting these. You know, sometimes I will start them in those little tiny cube starters. And to be honest with you, I have a ton of these type little pots that they're all reusable. They're typically considered throwaway. I reuse them until you just can't reuse them anymore, because on the farm that's kind of how we do things. But I am doing yellow squash right now. And I've decided to go ahead and use these bigger pots so I don't really have to transplant them out of the greenhouse until I am putting them actually in the buckets in the garden. Now, if I'd started these inside the house when it was cooler, then I would have started them in those little tiny pots because I don't have a lot of room in there. But because I have a lot more room in the greenhouse, and I don't know how much of this you guys can see, but I got pots everywhere, then I'm going to go ahead and start them in these so they can stay in there a little bit longer and their root systems can get a little bit bigger before I have to transplant them. So, this is what we're starting with today. I have got a bunch of wood chip mulch here, and I'm actually going to be putting about an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of the wood chip mulch in the bottom of these. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, it holds in moisture when you water them, so it will keep moisture in there longer, but it also lets it drain as well, so it doesn't keep too much water in there. And so that is the reason I'm putting this in here in the beginning. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my soil in on top of that and fill it about 1/3 of the way up. Okay, so I've put my soil in on top of that. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting some fertilizer in here. And this particular fertilizer is my own fertilizer mix. You guys can find organic fertilizer on Amazon. You can get it online pretty much a lot of places. You can go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's, you can go to your garden center, you can go to Tractor Supply. All of those places are going to have organic fertilizer. I like to mix my own because I like specific things in there. This particular fertilizer has blood meal, bone meal, and Epsom salt in it, which provides a lot of magnesium. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle maybe about 1/2 teaspoon of fertilizer down on top of this, and I'm going to kind of just shake it up a little bit, get it incorporated in there, because we don't want to burn the tender little roots on our plants. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of this pot all the way up with the soil as well. Okay, so I've got this filled up to the top with my soil. This soil I'm using is soil that I got from a local soil and rock company, and it is a garden bed mix. So it has, it's really lightweight, it's great for starting plants, it's great for garden beds, especially raised beds. So that is the soil that I am using today. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is getting my seeds. So I organize my seeds in big plastic tubs, and I put the seeds that are similar seeds into these Ziploc bags and zip them up to kind of keep the moisture out of them so they will last longer. Okay, so I'm planting my yellow squash right now, and these are squash seeds that I got from Roarer Seeds. I really, really like their seeds a lot. They're a little bit more expensive than, say, Baker Creek or some of those, but I've had a really good germination rate with these. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm going to put 3 seeds in this pot, and I'm going to kind of spread them out a little bit. And a couple reasons why I'm doing this. See if you guys can see how I've done those. The reason I'm doing 3 seeds per pot is because this is a bigger pot. It's got a little more room in it to get seeds started, and 3 seeds are going to be okay if they all germinate. If they don't all germinate, I'm going to have at least 1 plant per pot that I'll end up with when it's all said and done and I'm ready to plant these in buckets. Extra plants I have, I will pot also in these little pots, and I will sell them at the farmer's market. So what I'm doing is typically you want your seeds, the depth of your seeds to be double the long length of your seed. So this seed is maybe third of an inch long. I'm going to kind of push these about an inch down in the dirt, and I'm just going to push those down with my finger like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and cover them back up. And then I don't want to crunch down on this, but I am going to go ahead and pat it down just a little bit to keep some of the air out of there, so that the seed will have the most amount of contact with the soil that it possibly can, because it's going to use some of that energy from the soil to sprout out and germinate into a plant. So that is all there is to it. Now, I've already planted my cucumbers right over here. So I've got about 60 cucumber seeds planted. I don't want that many plants. I'm shooting for about 20. But again, some may not germinate. And if extras germinate, then I will sell those plants either at the farmer's market or in my farm stand store out by the road. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish doing these yellow squash seeds real quick. Okay, so I'm getting ready to do my zucchini squash, which these are Black Beauty zucchini that I got from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. I'm going to go ahead and plant these in the exact same way that I planted the yellow squash. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the mulch, we're going to do the soil, fertilizer, more soil, and then we're going to do 3 seeds per pot. And we're going to go ahead and do that now. The first thing that I do, though, is I mark these pots, and I use a different color marker every season so that I can keep up with what I wrote on the pot is actually the thing that we're doing. I'm using a purple marker right now, and I'm just going to put a Z and an S on here for zucchini squash. And I'll tell you guys, even if you think you're going to remember what's in these pots, go ahead and mark them. Because I don't know about y'all, but even if I think I know where everything is, I may come out here later and I won't know the difference between the yellow squash and the zucchini squash. Like, I can tell the difference between a squash and a pepper or a squash and a tomato, but it's always better to just go ahead and mark your pots. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now, and then we'll start filling these up. There we go. Okay, the last thing I'm doing, guys, is I'm watering these seeds in. I want it to have enough water to where it gets moist all the way down to the bottom of the pot, but I don't want to put so much water in there that my seeds float away and that my fertilizer gets washed away. So we're just going to get those nice and wet. I'm going to go ahead and water my others while I'm out here as well, because that way I won't have to come back and do it later, because I also fertilized these this morning. So we're going to go ahead and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Or my yellows. Okay, guys, so I have my yellow squash and my zucchini and my cucumbers in the dirt. To me, these are 3 of the easiest things to plant and grow. They usually almost always germinate really, really well. They grow well. You know, they are pollinated plants, so you do need pollination. If you don't have bees, you need to get a paintbrush and do that. And one of these days, when those get big enough and have flowers, I'll do a video and show you guys how. But they need to be in a space where they can be pollinated. So if they are being raised in a greenhouse or in the garage under grow lights or whatever, you need to make sure that you're pollinating those. Otherwise, typically Mother Nature will take care of that for you as long as you have bees in your area. Bees will do it. Butterflies will do it. There's a multitude of different species that will pollinate those for you. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. And when I do the March garden update, which I'm doing fairly soon, I will come back and I'll show you whether or not these have sprouted. Thanks, guys. See y'all later. Bye.